like all the cool kids we are. I'll tell chat to hit that F5 if we aren't alive live. So that's a thing.
Yes. That is indeed a thing. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to this week's episode of Clack.
Let's wait for people
I should do my best William Shatner impersonation. Welcome to Top Clack.
Gotta wait for people to slowly trickle in. Looks like the bot got their countdown a minute ago, so at some point the bot's gonna pop in again and be like, we're live again.
And everyone in Discord's gonna be like,
nah.
No. Sorry. Anyways, to all of you that are here, early birds, hello, welcome. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. We do not have a guest today. We will have one next week.
We have a lot of news though.
We do have some pretty cool news. We have some things to talk about, and you know, of course, as always, we'll have Q&A at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So you know, grab a nice frosty beverage and a snack, and you know, strap yourselves in. I'm gonna make the jump to light speed. Something
mint sounds like it would be a good beverage right now. Mint something.
Like a mojito.
Ooh.
That sounds pretty. I don't usually drink like mixed drinks or cocktails, like ever really, but every now and then I can get down like a fresh margarita or
salt on the rim, but like more salt than like the waiter feels comfortable putting on the rim. Like, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
No, I take the glass from them and I'm like, here, I'll do it. Because like they like for safety reasons can't put as much salt as I want on this rim. Lime basil snap. Ooh, I do like lime and basil together. That's a pretty classic combo.
Yeah, that is the classico. I wonder if something's wrong with Twitch. It says, I mean, I know people are watching. My client says we have 0 viewers. We obviously.
It does that to me all the time too.
Before it was saying like we get like 20 something. Oh, now we have 43.
Yeah, mine says 43.
Cool. So it updated. So yeah, we got quite the episode today, like Ryan mentioned. We got some news. We got some things that we want to talk about. We got some awesome discussion pointerinos. But before we get into all of that, let's hit that intro. And we're here with Top Clack. Welcome everyone to another wonderful week of Top Clack. Today is the 21st of June of the 2018 year since this calendar. AZ Walker Stop. Thank you so much for Twitch Prime 3 months in a row.
I was really hoping you were going to say something like the 2018th year since someone died for our sins. I don't know.
Well, let's start off with the norm. Brian, how was your week today? Or how was your week this week?
My week, both today and throughout the week, has been pretty good. Can't complain. It's been good. Been good. Cool keyboard things been happening. Got a few things in the mail, which we'll roll into momentarily.
Donut cables.
Thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate that. And Kobo. Thank you very much. Twitch Prime, really working for people. I like that.
Yeah.
How about you, Huey? How are you doing today?
I am doing hunky-dory, all good in the hood. Just a normal week of work. Over the weekend, I went to the New York City Meetup, which was super awesome, which we'll talk about in the later part of the episode, near the Enderino. That was amazing. When someone was like, Huey, how would you rate the New York Meetup from 1 to 10? I was like 11.5. Absolutely wonderful.
Wow.
It was amazing. For me, the Meetup isn't just like the event itself. It's the lead up to the Meetup and everything after. For me, the Meetup is the weekend. It starts from me landing in New York and it ends me getting on the plane to leave New York. So that was really cool.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it kind of is a Meetup automatically because you're hanging out with other key people like, instantaneously.
Yeah. Phil Mickelson, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Yeah. So, with that, it's time to transition to the mail call.
I don't know why that came to my mind.
It's mail call time.
Why don't you start us off, Huey? What have you received today or this week?
This week, I got some Otemu Ice V2 switches, and if anyone's seen my recent keyboard chores, they bad. Huey, turn off my turbine. Let me up my noise gate. I have to have that turbine on because my AC is broken, so I'm already sweating, you know.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't hear it on Discord, but I guess they don't get that same audio, so that makes sense. Yeah, you know, it's summer. It's hot. Huey's hot. I'm hot. It's hot where we are, temperature-wise and attractiveness-wise.
Yeah, I mean, like,
so there's not a whole lot we can do about it. We need to stay cool, man.
It was bad. Pop the AC. I'm sweating. Woo.
Yes, exactly. So sorry for that, but you know, that's kind of the top Clack tradition to have fans and ACs on in the background when it's hot out. So there you go. There's that. All right, what else did you get besides the Otemu switches that you're not personally fond of?
I got this super awesome Z Frontier T-shirt because yeah, Z Frontier are awesome. Yeah, they sent me a T-shirt. It's pretty cool. I'm part of the Z Frontier fleet now because I'm wearing this T-shirt.
I like the shirt, but is the submarine like in reference to something?
I don't know, but I'm a part of the fleet. I'm a sub. Huh? I get it. I'm a Z Frontier sub.
Oh, that's genius. Why aren't we that smart? Come on.
The submarine. I don't understand this part. That's ELIVA. The Eliva. I don't know. There's some Asian about this I don't understand.
There's probably some backstory there that we're just not privy to, which is the word of the day, by the way.
Phil Mickelson, thank you so much for another $100.
Nice. Ooh, what is that? A bowl of?
I think it's a B-day cake. Yeah, it's a birthday cake. I moused over it.
It has a little face on it. That's adorable. I like that. That's cute.
That's basically it for my mail call. Otherwise, nothing too exciting. Last week, there was still construction going on in my neighborhood, so mail could not be delivered. So that was a thing. How about you, Brian? Any awesome goodies for you?
Well, like you, I also got some of the Otemu new ice tactile switches, but I have not tried them yet. I've pressed one or two, just kind of sporadically, and I have some good thoughts, some bad thoughts on them, but I have yet to actually use them, so I will reserve my full opinions until then. I also got Hyperfuse Redux, which is pretty cool. Excited to put that on something. And of course, this shirt that you see me wearing, got this in yesterday as well. Jay Godinez, really nice guy in the community who's kind of made a small name for himself doing things like MX patches and Topra patches that I actually use on my backpack that I bring to meetups and stuff. Really cool guy. He does a bunch of like embroidering work, and he made this shirt for me. I think Huey's getting one too.
Yes.
But, yeah, pretty cool. I dig it. I dig it, and that's all I got.
What are you planning on putting those Otemus in?
No idea yet.
Good call.
Absolutely no idea.
So, I guess that's it for the mail call. Should we transition over to the newsarena? So what's new in the world?
Absolutely. I would agree with that. We should do that. We should do that thing.
Ooh, hold on. Zambuban made an actual transition that I forgot. I'm going to download right now because it was super short. It's like, hold on, guys.
A news transition?
Just a transition. Hold on. You guys will... This is worth this small wait right here. I absolutely promise you, okay? Absolutely promise. Everyone here, okay? Watch. You guys going to see a blank screen. This is going to be top Clack transition. Ooh, Phil, thank you for another 100 bits, by the way. Top Clack transition.
Yeah.
Done. I know you guys got a blank screen right now, but wait. Transition thing. Done. Wait, hold on. Add. I'm sorry, guys. Trust me. Trust. You guys just have to trust here. Transition. Nope, don't add the intro video. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh my gosh, Huey. You better be with it. Especially because we have 69 viewers.
Oh, there we go. Okay, it happened. You missed it.
Did I miss it?
Yeah.
I see the intro.
Just wait after the intro, then you'll see it.
Okay, I'm waiting.
It might have been really loud. Sorry,
I see
everyone.
a black screen. I didn't see anything.
Did it happen?
I don't think anything happened.
Saw nothing?
I was watching the whole time. I didn't see anything on stream.
It just happened again. It was like super short.
Is it a noise?
Just the noise? You guys didn't see the this.
Oh, I see it. I saw it now.
Okay, I had to slow. Okay.
That is, that's pretty great.
There you go. You guys just see it a million times now.
Is there audio with it?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, perfect. That is like exactly what we need.
Zamon, thank you so much for that.
We're totally using that from here on out. That is just perfection.
Speaking of perfection, a great way to have perfection is starting your morning right, and nothing speaks to starting your morning right than having a nice cup of coffee. And what's more interesting is to match that coffee with your key set. So, starting off in the news is our first topic, which is from PMK, the DSA Coffee House key set. A lot of people like the coffee set that ran on DCS originally. I like that set. It was a cool looking set.
I agree, yeah. I think it's one of the better DCS sets.
It has a return to form in the form of DSA. So I don't know if I don't know if I'm digging it as much, but part of me also thinks like they kind of not the greatest pictures when it comes to
They never do.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of a bummer. But
Yeah.
I think it's nice. I think the DCS works a lot better for this, especially because the novelties are different. The DCS set had like the cup of coffee novelties, and I thought those were absolutely stellar. These are like coffee beans or something, and it's just not as cool.
So I think the real question is, do you think the man of DSA, Chris Wires, will buy this set?
Yes.
I think so too.
So just to cover your alphas and your modifiers, it's going to cost you $100 dues. You get a couple extra keys with that, but by and large, that's pretty much just going to fit your standard TKLs. So kind of expensive, but we always knew that buying straight from PMK is going to be expensive. Their caps are not cheap.
I wish I reran this in DCS.
Me too. I'd probably buy the rerun, actually.
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson again with 100 bits. Thanks, man. You're on a streak, bro. Hardcore. Watching all these emoji fall into the cup.
Yeah. And you know, something that's so that's the coffee set. I mean, I kind of want to get it, but I have nothing I'd actually put it on, to be honest. So I'm not going to get it. Kind of like the idea. I like the idea of a coffee set. But it happens. You know, if you like the set, go check it out at PMK. It is what it is. That's all I can say. But you know what else I can say? While you're having, a nice coffee, reading a newspaper, one of the best things to have at your side is your dog, if you have a dog or a pet. And you know that feeling, especially when we move on to our next topic, which is DSA Kobayashi, group buy, all over at our awesome partner at Novel Keys, which is an SA set inspired by Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs. It's a fully sculpted SA set, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 for the rows themselves. 3 different kits, alphas, mods, and 40%.
Are you familiar with Isle of Dogs?
I am not.
I am not either, so I have no idea like how true to anything this set is. I think the colors are pretty nice. It's kind of a nice bright set. I dig that. Price, pretty expensive, but I guess not outlandish compared to other SA sets that have sold in large kits. Alpha is going to run you $70 alone. Modifiers are 130. So, I mean, unless you're just planning on using just alphas or just modifiers, you're paying $200 for the set. Which, I mean, I guess when you compare it to a lot of SA sets that I've run recently on Originative, this is actually quite a bit cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a tough pill to swallow. You get less compatibility than a GMK set for quite a bit more money. But I guess that's kind of always been the theme, right? People think GMK caps are expensive, but in reality, signature plastic caps are quite a bit more than GMK, honestly.
Yeah. Thanks, Mega Force, for 10 months in a row with that tier 1. I will not touch you though.
I would touch you in like a friendly manner.
I feel like I'm going to have to when I meet him in 2 weeks, or I see him again. I've met him. When I see him again.
Yes, indeed.
I like the Pro Dog key for the alphas. There's a key that says Pro Dog.
Pro Dog.
That's probably the best key there. To be honest.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. The group buy will run until the 20th of July, so you got about a month to get in on this. MOQ is 100 for alphas and modifiers, 50s for the 40s. I wonder if there's going to be a price break.
I don't know. So one thing actually I want to say interesting. So, you know, sets like this, they want you to use the accent keys. The accent keys are a big part of the set, and that Pro Dog key is an alpha colored accent that replaces your caps lock key. How do you feel about an alpha colored caps lock, whether it's caps lock or control?
No.
Yeah,
I think it looks kind of funky.
I'm kind of the same way. I wish that key was like something else. Kind of like
I wonder why they do that.
Because you look at the renders. That's what they have. They have the Pro Dog as this caps lock, and that's alpha colored.
Is it alpha colored? It actually looks lighter than the alphas.
Is it lighter? It looks the same. Maybe I could be blind.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a different color. Pretty sure.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. The white is WA and the off-white is WCK. Yep.
Okay, so it's still, for all intents and purposes, an accent key. It's just a little uncommon.
It's not for me. I'd use the standard caps lock.
Oh yeah, I for sure would as well. But such is life. So if you want to check this out, I'm sure you get on there soon. Well, I mean, I guess you have a month. You don't need to jump on anything. But they're set to ship out mid to late 2019. So at least a year or so before these actually ship. Year to a year and a half.
Yeah, that's gonna be quite the wait.
Yeah, but people in SA group buys are probably used to waiting that long now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gotten better or not. I haven't really talked to anyone about the SAQ lately.
I don't think it's gotten better. I think it's just the SAQ is just how it's gonna be, because that is life.
That is life.
Speaking of life, something I'm happy to see that has been brought to life after we've covered the interest check, basically, is GMK TA90. Woof, woof. Yo, Hentai, Thank you so much for 2 months in a row for that Twitch Primerino. Yeah, this is like a true return to form for GMK Triumph Adler, not the one that ended up running on Mass Drop and ending up how it did, which still looks fine, but this is a Triumph Adler.
This is like the real Triumph Adler, which is really cool. I'm pretty excited for this. So one thing you've probably noticed already is this is actually on Zoo Frontier's Chinese site. That's because they will only be handling Asia orders and Australia. China, Asia, Australia. Kono.store is going to be handling North America, and MyKeyboards.eu will be handling EU. So this is coming. It will be available no matter where you are. So just keep that in mind, even though that this is just the Chinese site.
Their pages,
the same for our next topic as well.
Yeah, their pages aren't up yet. That's why we just have theirs for now. I just love the fact if you scroll just one little bit down to the topic, designed by Dr. Dick. What a name.
Credit Dr. Dick. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So actually, some of these pictures are really good.
They're great.
Yeah, so they have it on like the Meteor actually keyboard that they're still running currently, and man, it looks good, especially without the blockers. Wow.
Well, it would look better with the blockers, though. You know what I'm saying?
It would not. It so would not.
So for compatibility, pretty standard, pretty good IMO. The other option is you want to get a Nord kit for the weird people who need even weirder accents and European keys. But there's also the Icon kit, which is interesting because, you know, there's always been the big debate between icon mods or text mods. Now you can basically, like, hey, you do you. Even the base will be text mods. If you want to go one up and above, you can get the icon mod separately as well.
Yeah, it's always cool to have that option because that's like one of the most controversial things in the community is whether people prefer one versus the other. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Check out this numbers kit though.
Well,
like the R0 numbers.
That's row 0. That's the really high row, like I had on my GMK Iris set that no one else has really utilized yet.
Yeah, check out the legends though. I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. I like that.
Of course, you got spacebar kit as well for those who need interesting different things. Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I think I'm going to.
Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be a must buy for me.
Same.
I really like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the price is going to be. USD. I'm just going to do a quick exchange rate here just to kind of get maybe a ballpark. So this is going for, at least on this, it's going for 1,019 yuan, and that is roughly equivalent to about 157 US dollars. So about what you'd expect for a GMK set at these days and these current exchange prices. So not terrible. Anyways,
really
we'll definitely be looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it gets me in the right places. It pops my bubbles in the right way, if you know what I mean. But speaking of popping bubbles, we're moving on to our next group buy option available, which is Signature Plastics SA Bubble, also by Z Frontier. They are also running it for China, but like Brian said, Kono will be running it for US, and MyKeyboard.eu will be running it for Europe. This is an SA set with a very light-hearted color palette, specifically the Rose Quartz and Serenity Pantones, which the Rose Quartz was the color of the year for 2016, by the way. Has very unique novelties, like those bubbly arrow keys and other bubbly bits.
Yeah, this is pretty cool actually. So like the last set, like Huey said, this is on the Chinese page because it's not up for everyone else quite yet, but it will be. I really like the colors. It's kind of reminiscent of Hana to me in a way.
Yeah. So
I could really get down with that because I like Hana a lot. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the novelties. I think the bubbly arrow keys are a bit much personally, but you know, it's fun, it's playful. If that's your thing, it's different, and that's good in its own way.
Yeah. I think this would probably look decent on my CA66, to be honest.
Yeah. So I dig like the base set here, but the novelties aren't quite doing it for me. At least some of them. But it's fun. It's whimsical. I like whimsical sets.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to that, of course.
So we got 788 Chinese monies for the base.
For the base set. Yeah.
Novelties 355, non-standard mods 258, numpad 258 as well. Of course, we'll see the U.S. prices when Kona has them up on their store. So look forward to checking that out. And if you're looking forward to checking that out, I'm sure you've been a good person this year, because we're halfway through the year, halfway to Christmas, and I hope you've been good. Because you have been good, then you should definitely check out this next set, which is GMK Good Kid. This is an interest check, started off. Interesting color. I like this colorway, actually. I think it's unique. I think it's interesting. I don't know if I'd get it.
Is it? It looks...
It's like
I
camping,
think it looks good, but it looks kind of plain.
Yeah, that's a very, very plain look to it.
In a good way, yeah. And holy crap, this compatibility.
Yeah.
There are a lot of keys in this one set. I don't know if that's going to be broken down at a later date, but yeah, I'm assuming this is just an IC.
It is just an IC at the moment.
Even though he does not have it labeled as such.
It is in the IC section at least, but...
Yes, exactly.
So this person's still looking for a lot of feedback, so if you have any feedback, hit up this thread and be like, hey, Mr. Thrill, HOIAF, I have some feedback for you. I think you should do this, this, and this, and I like or dislike the set. I like it right now. Not sure how I feel about the purple. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, I never really understood the need to have more than one accent color.
Yeah.
I think that's a little kind of out there. It makes things maybe a little too extreme in my opinion. But because you probably never use all of those together anyways.
Yeah, so I do have some feedback. Honestly, what I would do is I would actually take out that bluish F1 through 4 and F9 through 12, because those are already an accent color, right, for the enter, arrows, and escape, which I'm sure they will have an escape that color. So if anything, the F1 through 4 and 9 through 12, they should also have a one that's the alpha colored, because that's how it's normally supposed to be for people who like to be boring and normal with their sets. I think that should be an option too, to have an alpha version, F1 through 4 and 9 through 12.
Yeah, and we've kind of had this discussion in the past about I don't really want to call it forcing accents onto people, but you kind of are. If you don't include what is normal and you only include what is accent, then people have no choice but to use the accents if they're using those caps. So hopefully we're going to see some updates to this, because overall it is a pretty good looking set.
Yeah.
So hoping to get some more there. Ready to see where this goes.
Speaking of hoping to get more, cats are an animal that always hopes to get more. They hope to get more love, hope to get more of your attention and more of your time and effort. But that is, I'm guessing, the same expectation of this next topic, which is the cat with a K keycap profile, which is going to be happening soon. As we can see, there's already samples and pictures and packaging, and the best Chinese memes on the website.
So Z Frontier was talking to me about this last night, and it looks pretty cool. Apparently, Huey and I will both be getting samples. Is I think the plan, which is really cool, because trying out new profiles is always really cool. So CAT stands for Keyreative All Touch. Keyreative being the manufacturer, who we've been seeing more of lately. They've been really kind of breaking into the key set game, which is cool. So a couple things to note, at least from what I digested from this particular ad, is the thickness is 1.65 millimeter, so it's actually going to be thicker than caps like GMK that we're used to at 1.5 millimeter. Probably not really thicker enough to really notice that much, but maybe you will. It is a sculpted set. It is somewhat similar to SA, but not as tall. They were kind of explaining it as a SA to GMK hybrid. So they kind of wanted a GMK style sculpt and, but more height. So, if GMK and SA had a baby, this is supposedly kind of what it'd be like. So really interested to try it out. I'm not entirely sure what colorways will be ran initially, but it looks like they have a pretty standard black on white kind of thing going on. Which I am totally okay with.
I'm really happy if this is their first set they're doing. I already like it because, hey, they just started with super basic black on white. No crazy colors to try out for the first run. Very simple colors. They have compatibility. They already have a 7U. They have the 1.5U mods, 1U mods, stepped caps, short shift. So they have the basics covered for compatibility. The absolute basics, in my opinion, what should be the absolute basics for compatibility for any enthusiast covered off the bat already. You know, it's not like Mix where the first set they did only had 104 compatibility or you know, things like that where now
well, you really limit yourself to like the audience.
Of course, and you know, yeah, it's they're doing it right. They're launching it right.
Yeah, no, this is looking promising. I'm pretty excited about this, to be totally honest. I'm not 100% sure what material it's going to be. I think it's going to be PBT.
Yes, it is PBT.
But you know, this could be cool. I'm excited to see what kind of price point they're going to be hitting because in the past, at least, Keyreative has been a cheaper option to someone like Signature Plastics, which is cool because cheaper options is good, especially if it is done right. And hopefully, it will be here. So definitely excited to check this out. Hopefully, we get samples in pretty soon and this takes off.
Yeah, I'm excited. Do you know
thank you everyone for all the bits I saw.
Yes,
I've seen several people donating. So
PMS and
okay
Chicken.
to me, PMS and Chicken. Thank you for that. Yo Hentai subscribed earlier. Thank you very much for that. You guys are the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, etc.
So I have a question for you, Brian. Of all the new sets that have been coming out lately, have been teased and whatnot. Which one seems the most promising to you? To you personally, based on how you like the type and yeah, not just in like how we believe they'll do commercially or etc. But to you personally, to your fingers, what do you think your fingers will like the most? At least based on their theories and concepts.
You mean like strictly profiles?
Yeah, profiles, the new ones.
Well, you know, at the last Seattle meetup, I got to try DSS, which is like a sculpted DSA. That was really intriguing to me. Like, I feel like I really enjoyed that, so I'm really hoping that hits the market. That's probably my front runner. Followed by this cat profile, because I don't like the full height of SA. I do prefer lower profile cats, which is why I do like Cherry Profile and DSA and stuff. So, you know, I'm still a little skeptical about the height, but we'll have to wait till try it. I think the sculpt could be really good. So we'll see. We'll see. I think there have been too many high-profile iterations coming out. If I'm being completely honest, you know, we've had, you know, SA has already been insanely popular. Like, there's tons of SA sets. There's always more coming out. MT3 hit the market. You know, that's been kind of hit or miss. But I think as far as the sculpt itself goes and height, people generally kind of like it. There is, you know, Novel Keys is working on, what does he call it? Novel Pro?
The Novel Pro.
Which is kind of his iteration of High Pro, which is cool, you know, because Topra High Pro is also very, very popular in the community, and it is nice. But I've just never been a very big High Pro kind of guy. So I don't know, man. Like, I'd like to see more profiles that aren't high profile, if that makes sense. So yeah. DSS definitely my front runner. I really want to try more DSS. I hope so we can get some sets soon. And then cat profile I think is definitely probably my second. What about you?
For me, for a while since I reviewed the mix profile, that's definitely been a front runner for me for the longest time. But in theory, I'm going to like this one more because it looks like, at least from these sample pictures, it has more curve around the edges. And a lot of people know when I type, I like feeling the edges of the keycaps. You know, GMK, they're cylindrical, so as you go side to side in the keycaps, you can feel those edges. For DSA, they have the edge all around them. That was a little bit lacking in Mix, to be honest, and I feel like this is a better alternative because of that. I can type more comfortably as I feel my way around the keyboard. So,
for sure. Wasn't Mix a lower profile though?
Slightly, yes.
Yeah, I still need to try Mix. Still need to try it.
So,
Warrenified, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. You guys are awesome.
Heck yeah, thank you so much. So much.
People were commenting on my camera bouncing up and down. I'm sorry, guys. Like my camera is on top of my bottom monitor, which is both my monitors are mounted like on a stand, and so like even like a little bit of like movement on my desk kind of shakes it. So I try to stay off my desk so people don't really notice it, but it seems to be particularly bouncy today, and I apologize for that.
It is okay. Sometimes something that you don't need to apologize for are tricks that you do for...
You skipped a topic earlier.
Did I?
Just didn't comment on it. Yeah.
Which one?
This one right here.
Oh, I did. Because they had this... Okay. Okay. Rip.
We'll do this one really quick.
It's such a good segue, though. Okay, so this is another interest check for those who enjoy State Farm commercials, because like a good neighbor, this key set is here.
Wow, that's pretty good. that's pretty good. That's hilarious. So this is clearly a My Neighbor Totoro inspired key set, judging by the novelties. This is done by thread starter Sanryu. No like really good like GMK or like high quality renders yet, just some pretty basic ones. I'm not really loving the colorway, but I, being a big Studio Ghibli fan, I do appreciate what's going on here. I love the novelties, the little Susawataris and the umbrella, and the little the leaf umbrella for the enter. I think those are really cute.
You know,
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't like this set for one main reason.
Okay.
The main reason I don't like this set is it makes me want there to be a GMK green tea instead.
Oh, yeah. If the mods were just a little bit darker.
That's all. Like, I would rather have a GMK green tea. And this set is like a close but not close enough of that.
Oh, man. You remember back in the day when green tea was, like, insanely popular? And, like, people were paying, like, so many hundreds of dollars for a DCS set?
The bee's knees.
Oh, man. Oh, man. And then, like, they re-released it on PMK, and I was so happy because somebody bought it. And I used it on my Nova Touch.
Your $100 Nova Touch?
I think it might have been less than that. I think I got like some insane trade at one point. I traded like an HHKB Type S for like a Real Force and a Nova Touch or something like that at the time. It was insane.
Oof, that's pretty good.
It was a Nova Touch and a 660C. That's what it was.
So this is a pretty early interest check. It looks like, so give some interest if you have a chance. You know, I'd rather like I said, I have my own issues with this set, which is I would just rather have I'd rather have a green tea, GMK green tea. But this might be your cup of tea, especially because of the theme they are going at. I think as long as they're pretty consistent with that theme, it should do decent enough. You know, I hope they don't try to trick people into like me thinking that it would be a version of green tea. But speaking of tricks, we got another one up for you, which is our next topic, which is the interest check for the Trick 87, which is a TKL. Its honeycomb is woven into the design of the keyboard according to Shower King, which you can see by the little accented area between the escape and F1 key, as well as the honeycomb LED on the side.
Is this different than the Trick TKL that's already ran?
Didn't really follow the Trick TKL that already ran, to be honest.
Hold on, I think
but
there's some
the LED position's a little different. I think it's mostly the same. Maybe it's just another run, but...
Yeah, this is going to drive me nuts. Sorry, guys. Hold on.
TKLs. TKLs are a big market now. You know, like it seems like last year it was all about them 60% here, there, and everywhere. And nowadays, I think we're seeing a lot more TKLs hitting the market, hitting up the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think this is any different. So if I'm gonna put this link in the chat just for people to see. But the Trick 80, not the Trick 87, has already ran. It was offered with and without blockers, and the designs all look exactly the same. So I'm not sure if the Trick 87 is different than the Trick 80. And if it is, I'm not really sure what those differences entail, because to me it looks exactly the same. So maybe someone in the chat can actually tell us what the difference is and why this should be named differently.
Maybe they just want to do a new run, and they're just getting interest for a new run.
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, why would you change the name? I don't know. Either way, it's kind of a neat TKL. There's a lot of design going in there, though. I'm not particularly in love with it, but
different blocker size according to Takashawa in chat.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Half size blockers. So that makes sense because we have the it's not completely wind keyless because you got three mods on each side.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep, I see that now. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Wait, are they still in stock at Oko? No, I think they were all sold out. Unless I was stupid.
You know what this board reminds this man. It's like a painful day. This board. Know what this board reminds me of? My E8, my E8 that I still haven't got.
That you'll never get.
Probably never get. Rip.
It feels bad, man. Feels really bad.
But, I think a lot of people like the idea of having a partial blocker like this, because for a lot of people, they want a Windows key. That's really important. I know most enthusiasts who go full Win keyless, they just use Right Alt as a Windows key, because Right Alt
That's what I do.
It's like one of the most useless keys on the keyboard. Let's be real.
I don't need multiple keys on the keyboard that do the exact same thing. So
yeah. So for me, all my Win keyless boards, like the one I'm using right now, this alt row over here, this is Windows, so I haven't lost that functionality. And if I really needed that functionality, I could be like Megaforce, who actually has a macro pad with a Windows key on it, so he can go full proper Win keyless.
So I do like the more standard Win keyless look. But I kind of like the obscurity of this as well. I don't think this is quite used enough, but I imagine people probably don't like the half blockers as much as the more traditional version. But I think it looks cool either way. This board has a lot of personality, so
yeah,
there's that if nothing else.
For sure. Let's move on to our next topic, moving all the way across. I don't know where actually it is, but it's a good way to get around. This is the interest check for the Postage Board, which is something I think is really, really cool. So a lot of people may not know. Here, I'm going to open up the picture prototype real quick, and I'll explain it, okay? So this is a very small PCB. It mounts into 3 switches, but as you can tell, has a spot for a microcontroller and for a ton of pinouts. And the point of that is, if you're doing a hand wire build, a lot of people may realize, how do I secure my Teensy, or how do I secure whatever microcontroller I'm going to use? Well, this is a way. This mini PCB will solder onto 3 switches and has its own USB port out, which means you can have your USB port finally, stuck onto something instead of like super glued onto the bottom of your case.
Oh yeah, anyone that's hand wired boards before, seen hand wired boards before, knows that it can turn out pretty janky, depending on like what you're building. But
exactly.
So this is definitely a more elegant solution, it seems like. And
it's going to support USB-C, I believe, which is going to be really, really awesome for a lot of people who want to do hand wires and still, be in the modern age.
Cool. And it does have an optional location for the TRS jack for people that use split keyboards.
Yes. So, one thing I'm kind of hoping about this? I don't know if they've done the spacing right, but if they did the spacing, so on a 60%, if you mounted it on the keys by the enter 1 and 2, the port would go out of a 60% case, so you can do a hand wire build with a hand wire with a plate, and then still use it on any normal case if you wanted, because the port would line up.
I wonder if that was something that they had thought.
I hope so. I may have missed it when I read. It looks like it does. It might match up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, realistically, like, almost nobody hand wires a build and then puts it in a tray mount case. Like, that's super duper rare.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool to have the option nonetheless, I suppose.
Yeah. So it's going to be QMK supported, the Atmega 32U4 and the MCP 23018. yeah, check this out if you're interested in hand wiring, or you're just wanting to hand wire in general, or wanting to support the hand wire movement. Check this out. Fill out that form indicating your interest. I think this is like a huge step for anyone who is interested in hand wiring.
No, this is actually a bigger deal than people probably are giving it credit for.
Yeah, like, oof, Reno.
Heck yeah! Make sure you go and you support this, especially if you're a hand wirer.
Yes. Speaking of support, plates are something that provide support. Some people like them rigid. Some people like them with a little bit of loosey-goosiness to them. And some people like them, you know, flexing like the best of them, like my muscles. Moving on to the Tale of the Flexing Plates by Tom Berry, who designed his own custom plate with screw areas that will actually have relief cutouts to make sure when you push the plate down, it will actually properly flex down evenly. So as you type, you can have this really flexy, bouncy feel to them.
Yeah,
I think this is super interesting.
Yeah, so this is outrageously interesting. So the cool thing about this is, and I bring it up here even though it was posted on the 10th, so it's been longer than a week, but we didn't talk about it on the last show because I missed it. But, you know, that's okay. I kind of want to talk more, actually, as a discussion point with this instead of just as a topic. So let's include Twitch chat in this. We want to hear your thoughts on this as well. So a lot of people, you know, usually the more, like, hardcore enthusiasts, they prefer either top mount builds or, like, sandwich mount builds that don't mount directly onto the bottom, like a tray mount build. Because when you have a tray mount build, you know, everything mounts to the bottom and all that impact is absorbed by the like the standoffs and stuff. It's a very harsh bottom out. Like no matter what switches you're using, it just feels harder. Whereas if you have a top mount build, which is a lot more popular, I guess,
has
a lot
play.
more it's only mounted on the top of or the bottom of the top piece, or a sandwich mount build, which is between them. Either way, there's nothing supporting the plate in the middle, and so when you push down, you get a very minor amount of flex. I mean, more or less, depending on what your material is, but you get a little bit of flex, and because of that, you get a much softer bottom out, generally speaking, all things considered. And so the idea here was to take it to the next level. So he actually designed a plate for his CA66 build, where he used carbon fiber, and he makes specific cuts where it mounts so that it actually flexes more, because the plate isn't connected entirely where the screw hole is. So this is pretty cool. He goes into detail about how he accomplished it and what he thought about it and stuff. And all things considered, he says it came out pretty well and he likes it a lot. So yeah, this is something you should definitely read because it's really, really cool. And this is something I would like to see. And towards the end, he challenges people to design something like this and actually give it a try. Because he says he didn't necessarily do it like completely the proper way, but it still came out pretty well.
Yeah.
So this is something I would love to see a group by runner or a vendor, manufacturer, or whatever actually try, because I think the potential is there, and I would love to see something like this actually hit the market. So challenge to all of you peoples out there.
So speaking of that, if you want to try it yourself and you have a CA66, Tom Berry does provide the SVG file if you wanted to take it to a small manufacturer, if you wanted to, and have it cut yourself. So for your CA66, so that is an option. Or if you wanted to use that and analyze the SVG file to take design cues for another plate that you want to do as well, definitely an option. Ooh. Interesting.
Fantastic read and great idea. I think this has potential. This could actually be something moving forward. What do you guys think? What does everyone think about this? I actually want people to chime in on this. Are there any glaring cons to this? Do you think it's going to work out?
Believes next update after 3 months is that the plate's going to break.
You think so? I think you'd probably have to be a pretty heavy typist for that to really... Like, carbon fiber is actually pretty strong.
Phil Mickerson, this in polycarb, yes, please.
Link again, please. All right, there you go. Link that again for you.
Moki Doki says, wish he can do something for his dactyl, which would be really, really cool. Really, really interesting.
That Be very interesting. Yeah.
Q Leopard says, I want a brink. I assume it's a brick, not a trampoline. Rust the Bus and NS are saying carbon fiber is pretty good. It's pretty strong, so it should be okay.
Carbon fiber is strong. Like, that's probably why he went with this. Like, you wouldn't do this with like acrylic. You would do it with, polycarbonate or carbon fiber. Probably something that actually has a lot of bend.
Yeah, I might agree with Melda. Melda says, I wish the cutouts weren't as extreme. Yeah, because if they aren't extreme, it'll have slightly less trampoline. I feel like too much trampoline could be a bad feeling.
Yeah, well, a lot of this I think is also gonna kind of depend on the housing you're using it in and how hard you type, like how heavy your springs are, perhaps. Tombury is known for using very light switches. He's a very light typist, so he might be able to get away with something like this. Whereas, myself and my freaking Hulk fingers, and I'm just pounding away, then it might not be quite as ideal for me. So I think maybe having specific lengths of cuts for different people would obviously be a logistical nightmare, but might be the best alternative, all things considered. So definitely something to think about there. I wouldn't want a ton of flex either. Like if you just pressed a key and like your entire plate just like snapped to the bottom of your case or something, like that'd be pretty bad. He uses the CA66 as a good example here because there's a lot of extra space in most of the case. So that's something here. Obviously, you wouldn't necessarily be able to get away with this in every single build. You'd probably have to have cases pretty much specifically designed to support the extra flex, so you're not, maybe tapping your PCB on the bottom or something.
Yeah. Moki Doki, LOL, plate flexes so far, PCB shorts on the case.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that too. Like you would have to have a case that is designed for it, or take precautions otherwise.
Interesting. I would love to try it. Maybe I'll take that file and I'll print out my own carbon one, or I'll not print, but I'll get one manufactured, my own carbon one for my CA66 and try that with some nice tactiles.
Huang95 says it's going to limit the material a lot, to be honest. Maybe carbon fiber or stainless steel, but alu and brass probably won't last. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're probably not going to see this with a steel, or probably even brass. Maybe aluminum, but yeah, I think metal. Most metals are probably not the way to go about this. I think you're pretty much only going to see this with carbon fiber and polycarbonate, because those are a lot more flexible and they can, they're not going to get kind of stuck like a metal mate. But hey, like this is all for theory crafting and experimentation, and this is a push towards something that could be really cool. So I think the potential is for sure there. You type like a jackhammer on butter.
So yeah, this is definitely an interesting one to mull over.
Yeah, this is one of the cooler things I've seen in the community for a while now. So this has got me thinking. I'm hoping someone does something really cool with this idea in mind.
Hell yeah. Heck yes.
Yes.
Speaking of the community in mind, recently, last weekend, I went to the New York City Meetup in Brooklyn. It was a good time. Top clackception. Check out the video if you haven't. I did a little Meetup Reflections video with Puddsy, who was also there. He decided to not make his camera work, so he looks like he's in the dark. That's life. But we spent an hour and a half talking about the meetup, talking about keyboards and all kinds of other stuff. But the big message of this really is like, if you can attend a meetup, that would be just absolutely amazing if you could. Meetups are awesome. Meetups are amazing. And if you can't attend a meetup, then you should consider hosting one locally to you, because that's really how I started doing meetups. That's how Brian did his first meetups. There were no meetups around us, and we're like, hey, we want to meet keyboard people, so we did, and that was kind of what happened. It was pretty cool, and it's kind of exploded to the point where like I have to find a 500-person venue for the next NorCal meetup, which I'm delaying until November, post soon. Yeah. Oh, you guys, yeah, YouTube has a dark theme.
Yeah, I think you used to have to use an extension for it, but I think YouTube actually has a built-in dark theme.
It has a built-in, yeah. So I just use that because I don't want to get blind. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I feel you. All right, so of course, we can continue to talk about meetups and cool plate designs and stuff, but we'll also kind of transition over to our Q&A now. So if you guys have questions, we're here.
Over 100 viewers today. Thank you, everyone, so much. By the way.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. It's always nice to have 100 plus viewers at any point in time, so we appreciate that. That guy is okay to me. Thank you very much for the bits. Nice.
So if you guys haven't watched that video, I highly recommend it if you just want to get a good idea about the theme of how meetups go and stuff. Because Puddsy and I kind of take it from the day before the meetup when we're all meeting up. Because most meetups, you've met a lot of friends around in the community, or if you haven't, it's really easy to. We had a group of friends. We met before the day before the meetup when I landed in. We got dinners, and then the whole stream is basically a story that Puddsy and I take turns of like how our days and how our weekends went, because a lot of it like intersects in and out of what we're doing, because we hung out a lot during last weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So make sure when you guys do ask questions, you use the @top clack tag so we can see it easier. Helps us out a lot. Melodit is starting us off. Says, I remember you were both considering the Zephyr. Did either of you get in on it? Nope. Sadly, no. I just could not afford it.
Big regret.
Even with Zeal as our sponsor, we just we're not quite cool enough to be getting Zephyrs because they are expensive AF. They're really cool. They seem really cool, and all the pictures that I've been seeing people post of them, oh my god, man, got me sweating. I'm really curious how that 5mm brass plate sounds and feels.
I'm more sure about the feels. Oh, I'm sure it feels amazing. Absolutely amazo.
Yeah. Probably feels like you're typing on like concrete or something. It probably feels so hard in a good way. That's what she said.
Oh yeah. You know what, Kino? Do I agree with Crunchyroll's statement of loving Amelia? Yeah, I do.
Well, I think most of us love Amelia, but I think there are better people to love.
Gio is saying, I have a cool shirt. Where do I find a black top clack shirt, Brian?
This
GG no re.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. I mean, he might do it if you ask. I don't know. If you just buy one from him. So Jay Godinez, someone that checks out the stream every now and then. He's been around the community for a while. He does patches and stuff. He does a lot of embroidery work. So this is actually embroidered. You can't really see it on camera, but it is. So this is just like a generic shirt that you pick up from like Walmart for a few bucks or whatever. Then he just embroidered the logo on there. So yeah, pretty cool. I mean, if you ask him, he might do it. He'd probably charge you like $5 or $10 or whatever plus shipping. But there is that. It's always a potential option.
I should be getting mine in the mail tomorrow, hopefully. So. Yeah.
Whoa, super loaded question coming from that guy is okay to me. What do you think of the current state of the keyboard hobby? I need to sit back for this one.
Man, like
there's a lot to say on that.
There's a lot to say, and there's for a lot of reasons. Like, because one reason, I know a lot of things behind the scenes that are happening that makes it like so exciting. Where like I'm really optimistic about how everything's looking, because there's a lot of cool projects in the works from a lot of people that I found out about, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't say anything, but everything is so amazing, and I'm looking forward to so many things. So honestly, the current state of the keyboard, though, as it is, things are still moving forward. People are still experimenting. People are still learning, which are two of the main key things that I use to gauge a community's state of being. If the community is stagnated and everything is just, we want just RGBs and PBTs, and that's the only thing people cared about, then it would definitely be in a stagnant state. But it's not. People are doing new switches every day. People are doing new keyboards, new designs, new layouts, new plate options, new ways to mount plates, like we just talked about with the flex plates. People are still trying to innovate, and the attempt of innovating and the innovation itself as they're happening is an absolutely amazing thing. As Andrew, Mr. CEO of Input Club, has put it, right now we are in a Cambrian explosion of keyboards. There's so many keyboards hitting the market, whether it's from OEMs or from custom makers themselves or people designing and making one-offs. There's so many for switches with all the new things. You know, ever since 2014, I believe it was, when the Cherry MX patent expired, we've seen a plethora of clone switches that have, in a way, even surpassed Cherry's original switches to a good degree.
A lot of them have, yeah.
As well as, to some degree, you know, really great iterations. Like box switches are a great iteration on MX switches, which is absolutely amazing. So we're still seeing, you know, this radical explosion of keyboards. And all this has basically happened in the last 2 to 3 years. It's been huge. And even like 2 years ago, things weren't as crazy as they are now. They're still getting crazier and crazier and crazier. So for me, like, even right now, without disclosing what my excitement of the future, even the current state is a great place. And you know what? From what I know, things are only going to get better.
For sure, for sure. I mean, as the community grows, we're always going to see more and more interesting things and just more things in general. That's kind of just how it goes. Pros and cons to a growing community. Mm-hmm. That is probably one of the pros. You're going to have a lot of options on things. I mean, think of all the keyboards and key sets that come out these days. This didn't happen 3-4 years ago. Like, it just didn't. Like, you get a key set like every couple months. Like, you get a keyboard like every couple months, and it was a really big deal, and everyone got it because like that was the custom keyboard coming out.
You'd brag to all your friends you got a Philco.
Yeah, and like, you know, that nowadays it's like every other day you can pick up something like really insane and like really unique and really cool. And it's cool. It's cool. It's really hard on the wallet though.
Oof, yeah.
But no, I think the keyboard hobby growing is you know, by and large a good thing, and it's only getting better and better. It's a good time to be in the keyboard community, man. It really is. It really is. Melody is asking, is there anything we can do to improve as a community rather than as a hobby, i.e. things like being more inclusive, accessible, etc.?
Yes. My biggest thing, I would say, help educate yourself to educate others. The more... Think about, you know, how much you know now in the community, whether you feel like right now you know a lot or you know a little, compared to when you first joined the community. You know, that giant gap of knowledge between now and then is immense. And one of the things that will help this community grow better is helping new people bridge that tremendous gap. That's why, for example, Top Clack, we're working on the Top Clack wiki. You know, we want to bridge that that gap in knowledge, and that's for us, you know, one of the coolest and craziest things that will help improve the community. You know, and as opposed to like improving the hobby would be, you know, making new switches, making new keycaps, making new boards, the physical stuff. But the knowledge, that's how you improve and enrich the community.
This hobby has an incredibly high barrier of entry. There is an outrageous amount of products. There is an outrageous amount of knowledge. And it takes a while to learn all of it. I remember when I first came to the community, I was like, what is a 60%? There are people on Mech Market selling 60% plates, and like, I didn't know what that was for like a month. I was like, what? This makes no sense to me. Sorry, I just hit my mic. That was probably loud. But I was like, what the heck? Like, none of this makes any sense. And like, you know, eventually you get it. But, you know, one of the things I think the community could really benefit from a lot, and just like Huey was saying, is helping other people. Being mature and being helpful and being reliable are like really, really big things. Because nowadays, you know, our demographic, like our age in our community, our average age is actually kind of low. Like it's like teenagers, a lot of teenagers, like high teens, and they tend to not really see the bigger picture of the community. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but you know, a lot of people, there's a reason why memes are so popular in the community now, and people just hating on other people and so much drama. And like it sucks, because when new people just want information and they want help and they want like reliable sources, and you know, they're just met with people being like, oh, you shouldn't use this because you know, I don't like it,
or it's stupid that you even considered, like saying stuff like that, where it's like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of hostile, and I kind of don't want to be a part of this now.
Yeah, exactly. Like when people like post a picture, and like they post a picture of like their Razer or their Corsair board or something, like, hey guys, like,
I got my first keyboard.
I got my first Mac. Like that's cool. It's a big deal. Like a lot of us were there, And you go into the comments subsection of that post, and people are like, "Oh God, Razor crap, blah blah blah." And it's like that's not how you start people off here, man. That's how you chase people away. And you know, you got to be knowledgeable, you got to be helpful, you got to be comforting, you got to really kind of usher in like all the new people. But, like that's how we grow, and that's how you get people that are better in the community, that are more helpful.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you're nice to them and you help them, they will in turn at some point in time do the same to someone else. And you want to keep that rotation going. And to me, that's a really big deal. That's a lot of what Top 5 stands for. And, you know, it's something that we try to do all the time. Like, people ask me questions on Reddit and Discord every day. And, like, I'm always trying to be as helpful as possible. And I think the Top Clack wiki that we're working on is going to be a really big deal. It's going to be super helpful for a lot of people. So, you know, really, really trying to push that.
Yeah. Great question. Well, great question.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely a good question. Huangvu95 is asking, do you guys have a deal-breaking option when it comes to customs, like switch top removal plates, brass plate option, QMK compatible, etc.? Those are just some examples. A deal-breaking option for like a custom keyboard group buy, huh?
If it's a 40%, I'm not going to get a fancy custom for it anymore. For me, there's a lot of things to consider, because like I don't care about switch shot removal because I have a desoldering station and I'm competent on my desoldering skills. So like it's a bonus, that's good, but not something that would say be a deal breaker. No, non-programmable PCBs. Looking at you, Matrix Able. That'd be it. That'd be it.
That would be a deal breaker for me as well. He is asking our personal deal breaker.
That'd be
so
it. That'd be it.
100%. You cannot run a custom keyboard these days without a fully programmable PCB, which doesn't work, because everything else is just going to beat you into the ground.
That's it for me.
That's probably about it. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. Everything else is just kind of options. Some good, some bad. Feel good music. Nathan, thank you very much for the sub with Switch Prime 5 months in a row. The real MVP. Yeah, Droid Egg says, please less elitism, be helpful to others. For sure. For sure. That is a big deal. Russ the Bus is asking, do you think that trolls are an important part of this community or in any community?
No.
I think it's an interesting question.
If you mean like people who want to present satire, then that's and normal jokes, I mean, fine. But if people who are purposely aggravating others, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's at this point, you have to baseline what troll exactly means. And no, I think trolls are not helpful in the community. Do I think like memes like can be cool or something, like, you know, people being funny for the sake of being funny? Like, yeah, there is a place for that, and it definitely can be helpful. And you know, nobody has anything wrong with comedy. Like, there's memes that make the top page all day long, and like some of them are actually pretty funny. The ones I prefer the ones that are, you know, lighthearted and aren't like targeting people. Because you remember for the longest time, people would just say like "re" and autistic screeching for like every single post or every single meme. Like for some reason, like autism became like the target of everyone's keyboard memes, and I was like, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I thought that was kind of silly. And people are like, you know, everyone just likes to bash on someone or something, and all the memes kind of target that. So I don't really like that, but I like more lighthearted ones. And I think there's definitely a place for that, for sure. But trolls, probably not. 256K is asking, do you think there is something that can be done about wait times in the industry? I know since most things are group buy, it takes time to manufacture products, but I feel that maybe this wait time / sketchy GB way, filling out a form and spending money or sending money to random people, could deter certain people from jumping in. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's definitely.
It's scary. It's scary. Like sending money to some random person that you don't know. He's not like, they're not a vendor. They're not established anyway. They're just a person. It could be me. It could be like anyone.
So there've been two main avenues to get around though. One, do the group buy, but through a reputable vendor, someone who has, you know, legal culpability. Whether it be a vendor like, you know, Novel Keys, Kono.store / Input Club, Mass Drop, etc., etc., etc. That's one way. You know, to make sure that you have a form of recourse other than I'm giving money to a random person. I have no clue what's going to happen. The other way is the market that some other people like Originative and Mashup to some degree has taken, which they take the front end burden of ordering everything, and they won't tell anyone until it's there, and they're like, okay, we have these in stock, we have these for sale, go, we raise the price because we took that sacrifice, there you go. And that's a fair business model as well. And that's kind of the two ways people have gone in terms of that dilemma in our industry.
Yeah, I mean, someone's always going to be doing the waiting. It's just a matter of who does it.
Yeah, who does it or who knows about it.
Yeah, exactly. And some vendors choose to do the waiting for you, and so it seems like you get a product faster because you didn't know about it until it launched. But, the wait time was still there. You just didn't know about it, and it wasn't you experiencing it. But, yeah, that's tough, man. GBs can be scary. Reputable vendors, obviously, people trust. People trust who they're going to trust. And that's kind of just the way it is. In the future, there might be a better way of doing it, but I think just pushing it towards more reputable and established vendors is kind of just where we're going right now, which is why you see less individuals running group buys lately and more like brands and companies running group buys, which I think is just more comforting for people overall, generally. Yeah, I think there's not a whole lot else we can do about it right now. I don't know if people are really deterred from it though. Like, people seem to still be okay with it.
Yeah, the people who want to get into the hobby just accept it. Like, this is, at the current state of things, the hobby.
Mm-hmm. That guy is okay to me. Says, Huey, whatever happened to the 256 gram switches you had?
Oh yeah, the 260/280 gram APC greens by Tao Hao. I saw them in a bag somewhere. I mean, they vary by up plus or minus 20 grams, so they're really inconsistent. They're really scratchy. They're really heavy. They're really
bad switches. They're really bad switches for like a multitude of objective reasons.
So I don't know. They have them in a bag. I don't know what I'm doing with them, but I have them.
Fortified says the Top Clack community has helped me so much. Awesome, yeah. And that's something we've been really slowly but steadily trying to push in our community overall, especially in our Discord. We want people to be welcoming. We want people to be helpful. Because when people join and they ask a question or something and they're just greeted by memes and FUs and people joking around, it's like when you're actually trying, like, it's fun when you're trying to have fun, but when you're actually trying to get help, it sucks.
Scrolling down, Lunar Sama, is it you or did we forget the sponsor segment? We actually decided to try something new and do it at the end because a lot of people complain it takes a long time.
Oof, that was a nice save.
I don't know, I don't know how people feel about the sponsors. It's something, yeah, you guys know that we do because we really respect and love our sponsors who basically make this show happen to the degree it can happen at.
Yeah, I kind of liked where it normally is, only because it kind of separates the show of, our news show versus our interview and Q&A segments. Because, like, some people only like to watch for the news, and some people only like to watch for the other stuff. So I thought it was in a pretty good place. But, we'll definitely do it. We'll definitely do it before the show's over. All right. Wow, that's a pretty long username here. We Need to Know the Truth is asking, you guys sometimes talk about members in the community who are sketchy or have scammed people, but how come you guys never talk about J-Chan and his scummy actions?
We have. We have talked about J-Chan several times, actually. I'm pretty sure you were the one with a different account who's asked this, because we've been asked this by multiple people. As some people are saying you are using an alt, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's an alt or not. Like, the question still stands. I think that J-Chan has definitely made mistakes. I think even he knows that. Some of them might be fixable, some of them might not be. He's always trying to catch up. I still talk to him here and there. Like, I don't dislike the guy. Like, him and I, like, on a personal level, are still friends. He's made mistakes and he's kind of dug his own grave, and it sucks that he also got caught up in a bunch of like family medical issues that still aren't resolved. And I always wish him the best, but it sucks when you're a company and you make mistakes because it's mostly your fault. and like but there's not always something you can do about it, and people are just going to destroy you for it. So I think he's definitely misstepped on multiple occasions, and it sucks. It sucks because he used to be a very established and powerful vendor.
Yeah, he used to be a cool vendor.
He's lost a lot of that reputation, and some of that or all of it is his fault. And I'm not going to defend that. Like, I still like him as a person, but I don't think he's fit to be a vendor per se.
Mm-hmm. I'm in agreement. Like,
at least right now.
At this point, how things currently stand, I wouldn't buy anything from Jay Chan. I like the guy. I don't like Keyclack though. Like, Keyclack right now is kind of shit. That's how it is right now. I do hope it improves. Like I said, I hope all vendors improve. I said that when there was the big mass shop debacle, even though I have gripes against them. I hope they improve like everyone else. That's really it, right? So yeah, there is that.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's not like any information is really hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like everyone's kind of at the same place with this now. Like, some people hate him, and that's some people are gonna hate every vendor. Like, it's just the way it is. So it happens. He made mistakes, and he's paying for it. Like, I don't know what else you're expecting from him. Like, he's in like a really shitty position right now in life, like, because of other things and because of the keyboard community. So like, he's getting punished for it. Trust me. Like, he's not where he wants to be.
Yep, that is unfortunately a part of life.
Anyways, Shady Dentist is asking, are there any strong keyboard opinions that you have since reversed course on? Huh.
Before I got my first 96 key, I thought they were cool, and then I got a 96 key, and I never wanted one again. That was a long time ago.
Huh.
And it was the ZZ96, by the way. I was like, first ZZ96 round 1, I got it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be such an awesome keyboard. This is a young Huey with a Y-U-N-G, young Huey, little Huey in the hood. I got my awesome baller pink ZZ96 with GMK Valentine, the first run. I was like, oh, this looks so good. This looks so good. And I used it for like 3 days. I'm like, I'm selling this. I can't. This is a bad layout. Other than that, that's kind of the only thing I've changed. I'm pretty sure I've kept mostly solid. I think the other big thing is I do definitely like linears much more than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Those are the main things.
That was kind of me too. The first year or two I was in the community, I didn't really like linears at all because like a lot of people, I tried like stock MX Reds, and I was like, I don't like these. These are not that good. And then I kind of just pushed it aside for a year until then Gateron launched. It was like 2015 or whatever when Gateron first launched their first line of switches, 2014 and 2015. And I got some Gateron blacks, and I was like, these are pretty smooth. They feel pretty good. And then I started using those, and I started liking linears more. Then I tried yellows, and I was like, these are even better. And then I started lubing around that time too, and I was like, wow, this is really quite something. Like, you can get such a different and unique feel. And it was all downhill from there, and now I love linears the most. So yeah, that's definitely probably the strongest opinion I've reversed on. But that's also because I was younger and more inexperienced in the hobby, and I just I didn't give linears enough of a chance. But at the time, there was only cherry linears when I started. So you had MX blacks and you had MX reds, and neither of them were particularly great.
And lube wasn't prevalent yet.
Yeah, lube was a thing, but only a couple people really did it. Yeah, good question though. That's a really good question. Scrolling down, people are probably still talking about the J-Chan stuff.
Homie 408, what are the main differences between a typical customs and a custom with a K/high-end boards? So I'll do a few definitions. Custom with a K just means it's a custom keyboard from Korea, designed in Korea. Could be made in China, but designed in Korea.
Yeah, designed.
That's all a custom is. It doesn't actually necessarily dictate if it's better or not. That's just a region thing. That's how I see it. I do the same thing with normal custom, and even sometimes I'll in a very cute way say customs for Chinese customs. But they're all custom keyboards by pure definition of which, they're not an OEM, they're a specifically ran thing for something. The difference between a high-end one and a not high-end one will come down to things like anodization, come down to things like build quality, material used. Like an all acrylic case, most people wouldn't is a custom board, custom case. But most people wouldn't put that at a high-end.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, from here you kind of have to define
what's high-end for you.
What is high-end? What is a typical custom? Things like that. Because if you're just buying you buy like a 5-degree case or a Tina case or whatever, and you buy a PCB and whatever switches, like that's a custom. It's a custom keyboard.
That's a custom keyboard.
Like, you're sourcing products.
You assembled your first custom.
You build the keyboard yourself, basically. You're just using existing parts. So I think when most people consider like high-end customs, they think the ones that generally cost a lot more, the ones that will usually use better aluminum per se. It'll have better surface finishing,
good QA.
It'll have good QA. It might use more metal or materials. It'll have maybe more intricate designs or machine work. It'll have weights like brass. You'll have things that are a little bit more complicated, such as like a top mount plate, for example. All this adds to like machine time, which ups cost. And I think a lot of people kind of think about weight when they think about keyboards and being high end these days. I think people still are kind of the mindset that a heavier keyboard is a nicer keyboard, when that's not necessarily the case.
Always.
Yeah.
With my all acrylic unicorn here. High end, not heavy.
Yeah, and I mean you're always going to have people arguing what is and what is not high end, and what is not typical. And that's tough. That's tough, man.
Yep.
That's really tough. There's always a lead. It's in everything. Yes.
My advice about what's high end, what's not high end. Figure out what you like in a good keyboard, and look for a custom keyboard that accentuates those factors you like in a good keyboard. And for you, that's going to be your high-end board. If you like a heavy board, look for a really heavy board. Then that's going to be a high-end board. If you like, good brass plate with, relief cuts or XYZ, look for those things. And that's going to be your high-end board.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Sean Goloso was asking, how do you feel about the increasing trend of exclusivity in the hobby, specifically gatekeeping of custom boards and key sets?
Exclusivity.
You guys have been these questions tonight have been really good.
Yeah.
I am absolutely floored at the amount of great questions you guys are asking tonight. These are really making us think. So kudos to all you guys. You guys are this is a good show for this reason. All right, how do we feel about increasing trend of exclusivity? It's tough, man. Everybody.
What kind of exclusivity? So my first question: what kind of exclusivity? Like just exclusivity in general, in all reforms, or just in private group buys, or raffle style group buys, or first come first serve, only 50 units kind of exclusive. What kind of exclusivity? Because I think it kind of can depend, because some people judge those different kinds of exclusivity much differently. For example, first come, first serve. Most people would say, even if it's a small amount, everyone has a fair shot, therefore it's not gatekeeping, right? Something like that. Where some people are like, well, it's exclusive because what if you don't, hit that buy button in the first 38 seconds? For example, the Alice sold out in a minute 27, or something like that, right? Something ridiculously short. That is a form of exclusivity, and, how people feel about it is going to be very varied, compared to the meme, which was a private group buy, or even artisan stuff, which is usually a raffle.
Yeah.
Man,
I think part of it sometimes has to do with fulfillment too.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like individual group buy runners or small vendors that are only one or two people or whatever, they can't handle fulfilling the order for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of keyboards. It's tough. It's really tough. Which is why a lot of people, specifically single GB runners, they'll limit it to 50 units or 100 units or something they they feel they can comfortably handle without it becoming some kind of problem. And sometimes it does become a problem. So I think until we get like more slightly larger scale companies that maybe have several people working for them, people like Z Frontier, people like Massdrop, people like Input Club, stuff like that, like they have more people, they have a larger team to work with, and they have, you know, warehouses and more power to actually push out larger quantities of things. So I think until people start using those kind of vendors as more people to run quote unquote like limited high-end customs through, you know, you're not really going to see mass amounts of quote unquote high-end boards per se. But you know, we're arguing semantics here, I guess. But
yeah,
it's tough. It's tough because look at the meme group buy too. Like, meme was supposed to happen. It's a cool board, and it wound up just being like a 10 limited private group buy, and some people were probably pretty bummed about that. And like I get it, but like Krellbit was like, hey, like I'm only making this keyboard because I want it, and I need to like meet this MOQ, so I'm not losing a ton of money on it. And like that's all he cared about. He wasn't trying to run it for like the masses and stuff, which like is good and bad depending on who you are. But it sucks, man. Like, what else? What are we supposed to say? Like, it always sucks not being able to get things that you want. Yeah, that's never really gonna change. Like, I don't always get what I want either. And, yeah, sometimes it sucks.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Scroll. Okay, actually, I do want to address this. Mog Genius. I will correct you if you're wrong, and I'm happy you will not take offense. When I said I agreed with Puddsy that people shouldn't lube, it's not I agree that people shouldn't lube. I agreed with his second point of that. I think people should lube, but I think most people who lube do it poorly. Brian and I can test this all the time. People are like, oh, I'm a lube master at the meetup, and they're like, come try my board. And Brian and I are like, yeah, sure thing. And it's like, you lubed a keyboard. That happens
right? So much more than you think at meetups.
So I agree with your point. You know, people lube a switch, they love it, and then they continue to do it the same way without thinking it could be done better. And you know what? That's kind of the big thing. There's very little frame of reference on how a properly lubed board not necessarily should feel, because there's four mindsets of lubing a board, and they're all right, and they can all be done correctly, have a different feel, which I'll go over really, really quickly. Thin lube, thin coat. Thin lube, thick coat. Thick lube, thin coat. Thick lube, thick coat. There's some overlap between thin and thick, thin lube, thick coat, and thick lube, thin coat, but you can actually get a remarkably interesting feel between all four of those combinations, depending on the lube you use.
I have a lube guide coming out. I have a switch modification guide coming out, and lubing is kind of where I'm launching with, basically. And I actually go in pretty in depth with like the theory of lubing and like what things can and cannot make differences in the end result of your lube switches, because it's a lot more intricate than people sometimes think. It's not just as simple as being like, these switches are lubed, these switches are not. Like, there's a lot of in between there. There's a lot of what can and cannot be, you know, lubed well, lubed bad.
So to expand on my point, it's kind of like what you led on. You know, most people, once they lubed once, they think they know how to lube, and they're like, I'm just gonna keep lubing, without really considering how they themselves could get better at lubing, just because they like it the first time they lubed.
Yeah, this is actually why I lately, if you guys have been noticing in the Discord, I've been asking other people to lube switches for me. Like, I still lube switches myself and stuff, and I've lubed lots myself, but I'm asking other people to lube and then send them to me so I can compare them to my own work, and I can see like what they do, you know, differently from me, what they might do right or wrong, what their preferences are, etc. Yeah. So this is all to try to make this switch lubing guide a little bit better. Yeah, and you know, speaking of the guide, you're right. There's not many sources, good points of information out there for people who want to get into lubing, other than like, oh, I lube. People told me I need to do the stems, I need to do the slider size, I need to do the they know roughly the places, but not necessarily the technique, which is what we hope to capture with Brian's guide, so people have, you know, a different frame of reference. I'm not going to say necessarily it's better, because different people have different preferences, Brian included, in how he lubes, but the more information they have to compile together, the better they can form their own lubing theory. And I start off the guide by putting out exactly that disclaimer, basically, that, you know, I will talk about what works for me, what my experiences are, you know, how things are, and saying that, hey, this might work really, really well for you. It might not work really, really, really well for you, but you won't know until you try the things that you need to try the things that you should try. And yes. I say, hey, this is a starting point, but try as much as you can. Like, that's the only way to find out things you like is to try them. Yeah, like, that's not going to change.
There are very, very, very few people in this community whose lubing I respect and would trust on my own keyboard. And that's kind of my point when I kind of agree with Puddsy. Most people are bad, but most people also don't want to improve or don't know how to improve is the big thing. That's why if you watch the video, you know, one of the big things I said is out of 100 people that lube, in my opinion, only one of them has a lube style that fits with me, that I really enjoy and like, and the rest of them usually overlube. That's kind of the norm for most people who lube. And there's no way for most of those people to get better other than to tell them work on your consistency. But consistently overlubing is also an issue, right? Toss up. So we want why we want to make a guide. We want to make a guide. We want to help people.
I want people to try lubing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for people lubing. I definitely do not think lubing is a bad thing. I think there are just a lot of variables to it, and I want people to, you know, kind of know what they can be getting themselves into, and, you know, shed some more light and knowledge upon it. That's always the goal. All right, sorry, we're not trying to take too much time on that topic. Albert just subscribed to Twitch Prime. Very nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. 7 months in a row. Very cool. Toasty Party also gifted a tier 1 sub.
6 gifts since you've joined. Thank you so much, by the way.
I think he's the leader in gift subs.
He
Very
is.
Cool. Very cool.
Texas Breakfast. Nice. Who is the best luber in your opinion? For my boards, myself.
I don't know, because like I've tried like lots of lube boards at meetups and stuff, and I've like just very briefly, but I haven't like spent a lot of time with them, and like there's only so much you can know by just sitting there for a minute and like typing like a few letters or whatever. Like you can kind of get a vague idea, but you don't really know until you like spend some time, quality time with that board.
Yep.
You know, essentially. So it's hard to know. I haven't really like used anyone else's lube switches for extended periods of time, so I don't know. I like what I do, and I have liked what other people have done, but I don't know enough because I haven't used it extensively enough for other people to just be like, this is better than mine, I guess. So this is where I felt some good boards, and I've definitely felt some not so good boards. It's hard to say, man. This is why right now I've been asking people to send me switches so I can build boards with them and be like, okay, this is maybe worse than mine. This is maybe better than mine. This is different than mine, and why is it different? Like, what did they do differently, etc. So I don't know. I don't know who the best luber is, honestly.
The homie far away asks, how do you determine what's a good anodization? So for me, there's kind of two things. The first one's a bit subjective, which is texture. Most people like a very nice, smooth, silky almost texture that's really smooth to the touch. When it gets really, really grainy, not usually a good sign. And the other is color consistency, making sure there's no splotches, making sure there's no streaks across the anodization surface. And that's a really big one. Those are kind of the two big things to watch out for.
Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Just color consistency, texture, and, you know, whether there are imperfections or not.
Oof, Nathan's gonna do how he does lubing as well. Nathan X
cool
Quakeum's lubing content.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm still working on mine. I have some of it done. I'm sure he probably has some of his done. So I don't know. Maybe we can collaborate and do something cool. I'm having Chris Swires is also giving me a little hand at it too, because he is also someone that has spent a lot of time lubing and experimenting. So I trust his opinion as well. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Toasty Party saying, okay, no more memeing. Serious question: has anyone tried wax instead of oil or grease? I have never tried wax. Why would you want to try wax? Why would you want something that changes like consistency like at warmer or colder, like even room temperatures? That would be bad. It's like using like bacon grease or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Bacon grease would smell delicious though.
That'd be cool, yeah. But like, I think seriously, you'd want something that doesn't really change consistency, even if it's like very warm or very cold. You want something that stays the same viscosity, ideally. But I don't know. I don't have a ton of experience with wax, so maybe there are waxes that fit the properties needed to lube switches.
In before
you can get more staining wax.
In before earwax is the new in.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm for sure willing to try it, and I'd like to hear people's thoughts on it if it's good or bad.
Same.
There's lots of things you can use. Like people probably use olive oil to lube at some point.
I think Nathan's soaking like 3 switches in olive oil right now for like a week.
Zeal says flaxseed oil, 500 degrees Fahrenheit, bake a gloss layer on stem. Amazing.
Basically caught up with questions, and with that, let's talk about the reason that we were able to answer all these questions, the reason that we were able to the news, and the reason that Top Clack continues to thrive and prosper, which is thanks to not only all of you watching and all of you who have supported with your bits, but all of our wonderful sponsors. So let's start off with the Beast in the East. And oof, the Beast in the East is hungry this week with some group buy for GMK TA90 for the SPSA bubble group buy. You know, US proxies and EU proxies coming soon. They got that cat hitting the market soon as well. So meow. Check out the
look
Beast
forward to
in
that.
the East. Who's next, Brian?
Next, we have Input Club. Their storefront, Kono.store, stocks all sorts of cool things, such as the White Fox keyboard Reno, as well as some speakers, DSA Arcane and Plague key sets coming out. They stock the Hako switches, of course, the Hako Violets, the Clears, the Trues, all really cool switches. You go to the apparel section; it's the only place you can get top Clack shirts. Not this one, the ones that we normally wear. You can also pick up White Fox shirts. They're pretty good shirts at a pretty good price. So, heck yes.
Yeah. Next is we got Novel Keys, Mr. Mike Sickler over at Novel Keys, who is an awesome individual. Check out his shirts. You know what? Check out those Novellias for pre-order. If you liked the Royals, but you wanted a little bit more heft because you're a brawny man like Brian, then check out those Novellias. It's a good way to get your fingers fit and firm with those wonderful 75-gram springs at a great tactile switch. A limited run for that awesome Olivia color, basically. So check it out when you get a chance.
90 grams spring, actually, not 75.
Oh,
sorry.
Well. Oh, yeah, that's right, 90 grams.
75 are Royals, 90s for the Novellias. So these are heavier switch.
My B.
No, you're good. You're good. Make sure that you use promo code TOPCLAP while you're at Novel Keys, though. It'll get you 5% off your total order. So
yes.
Maybe if you're international, help save on some of that shipping costs or something. Good stuff.
Yes.
Last but not least, we have Zeal, proprietor of Zelios switches, wildly popular, of course, as well as the slightly newer Telios, which are linear that I've been enjoying a lot. I'm using some right now. I think Huey is as well. Both lubed, feeling good, sounding pretty good on my polycarb plate even. And yeah, he just shipped out the Zephyrs, so hopefully maybe a round 2 in the near future. I think people have been wanting that. So make sure to head over there and pick some good stuff up. You can even get Japanese snacks.
Yeah.
Like, why does he stock Kit Kats? That's so random. I love it, but it's so random. I don't know.
So, that's real quick about the Xylens, which I highly recommend. I brought the 78-gram Xylens, which I lubed, to the New York meetup, and everyone was like, what switches are these? These are amazing. They were the Xylens. When I told people that, they were like, oh, crap, these are way better than they thought. And they are. Check them out when you get a chance. It was, even Puddsy, who doesn't like lube switches, was like, these are the sleeper hit of the meetup.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the 78-gram ones?
Yeah, 78-gram ones.
Oof.
Great time.
Maybe I gotta have you lube some switches for you, some Xylens. I've been thinking about I think I want to put Xylens in my Prionic. Either that or Silent Helios, but I don't want to wait like 3 or 4 more months for those.
Oof, I know. The struggle is real. But thank you so much to all of our wonderful sponsors. And thank you to you, the viewer, to you, the supporter, for making all this happen, because Top Clack Yeah.
Heck yeah. It's a community effort. It really is.
Yeah.
We're effectively nothing without you guys, so we appreciate that. Anyways, that's going to wrap up our show today. Make sure you check out our Discord, our official Discord, link under the stream. You can join us, you can talk to us, you can play games with us, you can talk about food or anime or keyboards or whatever. It's a fun, casual place, and hopefully if you're going there looking for help, you will get it.
If you are a big purveyor of food, we need to knock Zeal off that food monopoly, because right now Zeal's like a monopoly on like food picks. Like we need some good competition there.
Pixel Ninja, I think, definitely competes but he also makes his own stuff, which is like extra cool. But like at the same time, he doesn't share as many pictures. So stuff, man. Lots of cool food though. I love. Anyways, you can also check out our YouTube channel below. You can hit the subscribe button there. We're coming up on 2K subs, I think.
Speaking of,
still off to a good start. Speaking
of YouTube channel, Chewy 60 review. Very sorry, delayed. Just finished some last snaggles last night. Working on it. Gonna be working on it tonight and tomorrow. It will either be out depending on how much I drink. It'll be done today or tomorrow. Like, I'm in like heavy work mode to finish this, because I have another great review coming out for another project that I cannot disclose at the moment. Because it's still being shipped to me, I believe. So,
very exciting. Anyways, until next time, we will be here on Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, like we always are. Potentially build streams within there. Tomorrow, I'm going to be putting in a ton of work into my Boom guide and switch modification thing. So, expect that in the near future. I'm not 100% sure if I'll entirely finish it tomorrow, but I'm really going to push for that. So, we'll see. That should be coming very soon either way.
Awesome. Possum. Thank you everyone so much for watching. We will catch you next time.